This is Brett Weinstein.
This is Tom Luongo.
This is Bruce Party.
This is Alex Kreiner.
Hey, this is Brad Wall.
This is Dr. Pierre Corey.
Hi, this is Frank Peretti.
This is Danielle Smith.
This is James Lindsay.
This is Vance Crowe, and you're listening to the Shaun Newman Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing today? Well, as I sit here, I'm sitting in Good Spirit Lake Campground, provincial campground in Saskatchewan. Today we are making our move towards Manitoba. It's going to be a full day of driving. We're going to land in Altona. So when you're listening to this, we'll probably just be picking up and getting ready to head south to Minnesota. But regardless, as I record, we've been in Good Spirit Lake for the day. We ran into Quick Dick and his family at their family farm yesterday and spent a little bit of time there. Did an interview with QDM's dad, Big Mustache Al. So that's what you can expect next week. Regardless, that's just a little update from the road side. Today, Thursday, yeah. Well, when it comes to precious metals, we're talking silver gold bull. We're talking Alberta's own silver gold bull. Man, I'm not going to see Alberta for quite some time. But anywhere I go in Canada or North America, silver gold bull can ship right to your doorstep. Buying, selling, or storing with precious metals, you can reach out to Grahame down in the show notes for details with any questions you have around investing in precious metals or for future silver deals exclusively offered to you, the SMP listener. silvergoldbull.ca, silvergoldbull.com. Guardian Plumbing and Heating. These guys have been keeping homes, farms, and businesses running smoothly since 2010. One of the things that really sets Guardian apart is how they make life easier for their customers. They've got technicians on shift from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day, including weekends, and they don't charge you anything extra for evening or weekend service. That means you can get the help you need on your schedule without worrying about surprise costs. When it comes to Guardian, they've got expert service, cutting-edge power solutions, or advice you can trust. Guardian Plumbing and Heating has your back. Visit them at guardianplumbing.ca. Ignite Distribution is a high-service supply company based in Wainwright, Alberta, specializing in automotive parts and a wide range of additional products, including safety equipment, welding supplies, fasteners, and janitorial items. They operate as a Napa Auto Parts, and you can say hi to my buddy, Shane Stafford. Give him a call, 780-842-3433. That's in Wainwright, Alberta. And Caleb Taves does, with Renegade Acres, does a community spotlight. Well, like I said, we are probably getting close to some communities and further away from others. We're in Good Spirit Lake, Saskatchewan today, and we're heading towards the Manitoba border. We're going to be in Altona, Manitoba tonight, and pulling out of it, well, the day you listen to this. So we'll pray for good weather and good speeds, good fuel efficiency on the old road. And it's been the old gas price has been interesting to watch. $1.68 is the highest we've seen so far, but everything else is going good. So we got no complaints on this side. When it comes to the road trip, it is powered by Zeebs. They're family-owned and fine-tuned in Chestermere, Alberta. That's Zeebs Performance Restoration delivers expert classic car restorations, custom exhausts, and performance upgrades that keep your ride reliable and roaring. You can visit Zeebs.ca today. Well, Mr. Zane's on the podcast today, so buckle up for that. All right? If you're listening or watching on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, Substack, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a review. Make sure to share with a friend if you're enjoying. And make sure to go check out Substack. Substack and X in particular. Substack is where the Week in Review is happening every Sunday night. I've been posting a few pictures from the trip on Substack as well. And then on X, if you follow my feed, I've got a day-by-day tweet going on with some of the things from the days. So if you're wanting to pay attention, Substack, X, those are the two places to make sure to get it. On Substack, just subscribe for free. You can always become a paid member. All right, I'll stop jabbering. Let's get on to that tale of the tape. Today's guest is the owner of Zeebs Performance Restorations. I'm talking about Zane Southgate. So buckle up. Here we go. welcome to the Shaun Newman podcast. Today I'm joined by Zane Southgate. Sir, this is an honor. And make sure when you hold that you bring it up to your mouth whenever you're talking.
For sure.
But, when I started the road trip, which is only a few days ago, this is a new spot to do a podcast.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, it's a working location, so.
Very cool. Now, for the people behind us, this is the beast. This is the back of it. And they've put on Canada, the United States. Obviously, I've been talking the last couple episodes being powered, the road trip being powered by Zeebs Restoration, Zeebs.ca, so that's super cool. And you can't see the front. The front might be the coolest.
It is, actually. I was looking at it. The bow tie looked aged. I'm like, well, I'm not going to change it out, but... And I'm like,
for the non-car person, that is the Chevy symbol.
The Chevy symbol in the middle of the grill. And so I talked to my graphics guy who did the maps and whatnot. I said, hey, I need something that is SNP, Shaun Newman podcast. I told him, and I said, let's do World Tour. And so the SNP's in the middle, World Tour's on the outside on the bow ties. So what you'll find is... Shaun will probably post that here tomorrow on X or whatnot, and it figured best way to dress up the front end of that truck and make a statement.
Yeah, well, super cool. Now, before we get to anything, who you are, anything like that, I need you to tell every man out there what is actually under the hood, because I keep getting asked, I keep going, Zane,
it makes
tell
noise.
Zane, tell them exactly. I want you to just walk people through what is under this hood.
What we got is an air pump that turns fuel and fire into power. So now we got a 6-liter Chevy LS engine. It's an 04 vintage, so it's right on the same with the the Suburban. And the engine that was in it when I acquired it, it was seized. So we ended up it was how I acquired it. It was a dead engine, so it's like, well, I'll put it in the stock and see when I need it. And it was about 3 years ago. But anyways, what we ended up building when the call came, and it's like, hey, let's. This is what would make sense for us. I said, well, the best engine to pull on that would be the Chevy 6-liter. It's about 480 foot-pound torque in there, and like you said, it sounds like a race boat, sounds like a race car. Reason is it's the camshaft we put in is for towing, for hauling as the hills that you're going to be up against. We've done a lot of traveling in our past and haul. And we've built all of our own personal units to make sure that we can get where we want and get in a reasonable mileage for a gasoline engine.
Now, okay, that being said, one last question before I get to who Zane is. My mother keeps going, are you sure you don't want a new vehicle? You sure you don't want a new vehicle? Can you put Mother Newman to just ease on what you've got, what you guys have done to this vehicle? Because it is an 05.
Yep.
But, to the average person, they're going, an 05, why are you going across in that? But when I talk to any mechanic, anyone who knows their way around a car, they're like, oh, I know why you're taking that. So maybe to Mother Newman, you could just ease some concerns.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing is the platforms. We know the platform. One, it's a 21-year-old unit. GM had this chassis powertrain for, since 2000. And they've been refined over the years. It comes down like to get a similar package in a 5-year-old unit, you're spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Now, if you want to buy one new off the lot to match what we've built this into, you're looking nearly $100,000, and now you're paying a 30% loss right out of the gate. But mechanically, this is a 0-mile truck. We went through the differential. We did axle bearings, differential bearings, brakes, front, rear. The suspension was all in good shape, the ball joints and control arms. The transmission was freshly rebuilt before the engine seized. That's actually one reason why I decided to acquire it. But it's also a transmission that we can rebuild in about 2 hours if we needed to, right? So it's a solid rust-free unit. So I think as any goes. It's one of the best, most cost-effective platforms to run with.
Okay, so all that aside, tell the audience a little bit about Zane, because I've known you now for, it feels like a long time, but it's probably only been a few years. We've gotten to know each other a bit off air and different things like that, which I love to do with the audience. But for the audience member who maybe doesn't know who you are, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, Zane Southgate, born and raised North Battleford, born again, child of God, and father of great little man Scotty. 10 years old, he's nonverbal, non-mobile, vaccine injured at 11 weeks. And it's been a tough go with him, but he's always got a smile on when he is awake, and even nonverbal, you get to know that he's in there and he hears you, and he knows that that you're there for him.
1 second. Brian, can you guys go outside? I'm gonna.
We got too much background noise.
Background noise. You know, it's funny, folks. I do a show in a garage, and I'm like, now I'm gonna have to shoot the stars of the show away, because I mean, Brian's been on the show before. Brandon's here, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody can hear it. I can hear it, and I'm like, if I can hear it, they can probably hear it. They're probably wondering.
It would have been like we're in a mall.
Yeah, that's right. What's going on in the background? Okay. Why on earth did you reach out? Because I've been curious about this since you did. You know, like I'd been praying about it, and I was kind of like, man alive. I'm like, what am I going to take? I'd had all these different things. Like I'm like, oh, I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about that. I don't know about this. Any truck driver, I'm come from a family of truck drivers.
Yeah.
They're like, you're going to be concerned about this. And then a phone call comes in from Zane. He goes, what are you taking? And I start chuckling. I'm like, I don't want to tell you, Zane. I don't want to tell you what I'm taking. And I guess, you know, from my own personal curiosity, you know, like what inspired you to make the call? And then, I mean, Brian, your father, has been on the podcast before, but is an unsung hero in what you guys have been doing to this thing.
Definitely unsung.
And I guess I'm just kind of curious for my own self. Like, you know, lots of the audience has heard about this thing and seen a couple pictures. But, you know, like, what was it that sent you off going, oh, I'm gonna make a call?
Well, the biggest thing is, and I sent you 2 units. The first was the Suburban, because it's like, hey, it's a good family vehicle. The other was an 04 F-150 crew cab with a topper, and so same amount of space. Would have had the same powertrain in the end, because it acquired a dead engine vehicle, so it would have ended up with a Chevy powertrain. Because personally, I've been born and bred Chevy, so there are, in my opinion, as a guy of 40 years working on them, it's that they're most cost-effective, reliable scenario. And that's so, as it is, as to why I reached out, I'm like, hey, man, just what have you got going on? Like, did you acquire a truck from somebody? Like, did family, because I knew you had the Jeep, and you had filled me in that you had the 16 Explorer. And I'm like,
The Explorer.
And I'm like, well, that's not quite going to get you there. And but no, it was something that said, hey, I've got this unit. It's solid enough. Let's work out the details of what it needs and get it to you. So I think a lot of it was the Lord leading. Is what I'm going to call.
Well, I did the first one with 2s, and it was your father was a part of a blue collar roundtable.
Yeah.
And on the trip, I talked to Guardian, and I pitched the idea of a Guardian blue collar solo.
Okay.
As I run into blue collar folk doing what they do. And I was telling 2s, like just the way it went the last couple days, didn't get over here until tonight. I wanted you to be the first blue collar solo. I thought it was fitting, first shout out to Guardian Plumbing Heating in Lloydminster.
Good guys.
Yeah. And when it comes to, having some issues, in Lloyd, but even further out, like they're willing to go a long way to help people. Yeah. And when you reached out, I'm like, man, we gotta find a way to revive the blue collar roundtable, because it was just getting tough as I was getting ready for this trip to try and shut down the new
Calendar
studio.
keeps getting tight.
That's right. Time keeps marching on. So we decided to go with the blue collar solo, and
That's awesome.
brought to you by Guardian Plumbing and Heating, right? And they've been excellent. They've been wonderful. So if you're looking for plumbers, electricians, people that are going to work with your
Heating
heating
units that
that's right.
create power.
Yeah, right.
Man,
Like
that's
they're
some
brilliant.
fantastic equipment.
That's right. And so the blue collar solo, I'm sitting here in your garage. I'm like, I hope for more of this as we go across Canada. And already I've done, an interview in Two's vape vault.
Yeah.
I've done an interview overlooking the I don't even know what to call it, a bit of a valley on Kyle Coze's place.
Yeah.
Earlier we did one at Aspen Crossing with the owner of it, just on the campsite, and
Right. And those cabooses killer.
well, oh man, it's just a cool spot, and so for a blue collar solo, I was like, okay, Zane. One of the things Two's brought up to me, I was asking him what gives, what's blue collar to you? I was trying to ask him who's the most blue collar man he knows, and what he gave me was quiet competence, patient competence, actually. And I blurted it out. I'm like, man, that was Zane the other night working with my kids, changing out tires, because I've just never. That's a hidden skill or a beautiful skill, to sit there and watch a kid struggle, but love the struggle.
Right.
And I don't know. I was wondering what your thoughts on blue collar. If Two's is dead on the mark with patient competence.
He's got 1 and 2, definitely. The competence is, most people will put 1, but the patience has got to be there. If you don't have the patience, it's not gonna be, I guess, rewarding at that point. If it's always rush, the attitude isn't there to be confident, right? That's being to consider.
Battle of the Techs.
Yes, sir.
You gotta tell the audience about this, because me and Two's have talked about it. Last time you were up and you were telling me about it, I'm like, man, we gotta find a way to get there. And obviously this go around it's not gonna work, but I hope in the future we'll get there. Walk the audience through what you do with Battle of the Techs, and obviously when it is.
Yeah, well, we've Battle of the Techs engine race started out actually in Saskatoon Dragons Run Custom Car Show back in 1995, and they did 6-cylinder engines. It actually was an extension of Kelsey Syest at the time, and the reason it became a part of a car show, the Dragons Run Custom, was Dad was a member of them, and that year, 96, they had a fire in the cafeteria, and so they didn't have their student days, and they still wanted to perform this competition. Well, it was three people on one engine, putting valve springs together, pistons in the block, like an old Chevy 6-cylinder inline you would have found in, say, this here 54 Chevy beside us. And anyways, by year 2000, Dad and associate at the car club said, you know what, let's do something a little different, a 2-person race with a small block Chevy. The 305 cubic inch is what they ended up using because nobody needs them.
I always love when Zane starts talking engines, and I'm like, I have no idea what he's saying, folks. I'm about as inept when it comes to vehicles, but I love it.
Yeah, and so it comes down that the heads are assembled, the rotating assembly, so the pistons, crank, and camshaft are still in the block, but you got to put the oil pan on, the timing gears on. But on my race that we run since 2011 here in Calgary and around, we actually, of all things, Saturday we're in Strathmore at the Strathmore Fairgrounds for the Zeegle Automotive Show. But it's 192 parts on the bench, 9 hand tools, 2-person team. I have 2 engines set out.
So you're saying me and Twos could be a team?
You and Tubes can be a team, or you could get somebody and challenge. Or you could each head do a heads up.
Well, I know who I'm calling as my first guy on my team. It's going to be Zane or Brian Southgate.
Because
we don't lose to Twos. We don't lose to Twos.
We won't lose to Twos.
We don't lose to Twos.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's 192 parts on the bench, 9 hand tools. And you say go. One person minds the bottom side of the engine. One person minds the top side of the engine. There's 16 head bolts to like a cylinder head, a gasket, a cylinder head, 16 bolts to put in. And you have, with the 910 tools, it's a 7/16 socket, 1/2 inch, 9/16, and a 5/8. A speed handle, and extension, ratchet, a combination wrench, and a screwdriver. Right? Like back in the day, up to 1986, that's really most of the tools you needed to do anything on any of the vehicles. They've got a lot more complicated. Like when we were doing this, we ended up with about 40 tools out for doing an engine swap. But on the Battle of the Techs, when we first brought it to Calgary, I borrowed the Dragon's Run custom engines, and they we set up at the car show, and 5 minutes into the event, the VP from the Autorama show out of Detroit, that's who parents the World of Wheels in Calgary, he taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Zane, you're bringing this next year, right?" I'm like, "Yes." And the answer was yes. It's not even, we'll talk about it. The answer is yes. And so what we did was I built my own set of engines to do, and I set them up as mobile as I could, so I can pack them down, load them in a trailer, 30 minutes in, and I'm at a show or a school, and we can run the kids assembling these engines.
So when you say kids assembling engines, like I partially am picturing not knowing a clue of what you're doing, or these are like mechanics in the waiting. They're working on it, and it's like this cool challenge, or is this like like a 40-year mechanic or a 20-year mechanic in this, or is it a little bit of everything?
Everybody. And here's the coolest part, and Shay's actually right at the age. He's coming up 10. We've had 10-year-olds come in and outperform 24-year-olds that have wrenched all for their 10 years of their life. And I had 1 year at Airdrie. We had this was actually an 8-year-old kid. He come walking up. He's like, "What you doing?" So we explained to him, and one of my judges, coaches he's a former participant. He came and ran. He comes and helps judge at the outdoor shows, and he walked the kid through. This is what we're going to do. He's like, "Well, can we do it for real?" So they against the clock. Okay. And we had some young guys from the car club, 24 years old. They've been wrenching. I'm like, "Okay, you guys think you know what you're doing? I'll let you go. I'm going to just stand here and watch over each." So the 8-year-old kid with Ryan as the coach ended up running a 15-minute assembly and got it running for 5 seconds. That's the other thing. Like the biggest thing, you assemble these 192 parts on the bench, and it has to run for 5 seconds hands-free. That tells you that...
It's like riding a bull for 8 seconds.
It's like riding a bull for 8.
Right,
it's exactly that. Because if it doesn't run clear for 5, you didn't get something right. You didn't get cam timing right. You didn't get valve lash right. You got timing out mechanically or ignition timing out. We use fuel injection system, so it should start immediately, as everybody knows their new cars do. And you get in and turn the key, and it should start like instantly, right? And you get in an older car and you turn over, and it's like, oh, I've got to pump the gas a couple times. Oh, and it still didn't go. Oh, now it's flooded, right? No, the computer systems allow us to just have it so it immediately fires. If everything is set 100% correct, valves lashed out, cam timing set, the ignition timing set, and the plug wires are loomed in a way that they can only go one way. If you do mess them up, it will break parts. But we've had, back to that 8-year-old kid, he ran a 15, and these 24-year-old, I'm a technician, I'm whatever year, I don't know if it was a second year, third year, or whatnot, they were 26 minutes. Like they were 9 minutes over. I'm like, we've built engines before. Well, then if they've built engines before, then this procedure is 50% of your engine build, because the pistons are already in, the crank's already in, the cam's already in. So it's putting the heads on, putting the lifters in, the push rods in, the rocker arms, lashing the valves and making it right. And if you don't set them quite right, it ain't gonna start. So, but
you know how wild that is to have like an 8-year-old compete in that.
Right. We've had as young as 10 in the competition in the World of Wheels. He was with his brother. His brother ran the year before. And by the time he was 16, these boys, by the time they were 13, they were leading the pack. By the time they were 16, like the one who was 10, they ended up winning it. And the rule is you win, you come back and help coach or judge. You can't find another teammate and go run again. We don't want that mix up. We want a fair competition, and we want new people
to win.
We need new people in.
I go back to an interview I had with Robert Oswald. This is going way back. And he said back then, we need to make blue-collar jobs cool again. And like what you're doing with Battle of the Techs and what it sounds like in just that realm, kind of sounds cool. Sounds fun. It sounds like I couldn't do it, but then I go, with the help of Zane, I probably could, and we could have a lot of fun with it.
We can take anybody out of the crowd, have them run one run, like a walk-through run, and then have them run usually an 18-minute. No problem, as long as they're paying attention to what we're having them follow and do. And within
like in 18 minutes, you can have a newbie assemble an engine.
Yeah.
And get it running.
And in the way that it's laid out, yes. Will they understand what all happened? No,
probably not. No, full stop. No, it's like
not so often. No, but it's not that we're not doing it for. We're using that air pump engine as a tool for A, teamwork, and B, sequence. Because if you don't do it in sequence at the right time, things don't happen fast. You have a 1 minute error, 2 minute error, or if you forget something, you might have a 4 minute error, having to undo something and take a 3 minute penalty if you understand why we're going to allow that penalty. So it's
if people wanted to come watch or get involved, where would you send them
to? Reach out to me at enginerace@zeebs.ca. And this weekend we're going to be at Strathmore.
Well, by the time this airs, it will have passed.
Next week.
That's
right.
Okay,
so we're going to be at Strathmore again, Kinsman Park, on the 18th July.
18th of July. There you go.
And then 19th July, we're in Langdon at the high school for Langdon Days. August 8 in Airdrie, and August 16, which is a Sunday, in Okotoks. And right now,
sweet,
we're open for any teams, and we will have windows of practice session ahead of, or just come to one of the car shows we're at. And if there's say we might be down one team, and we have a minute where we can pull somebody from the crowd and walk you through it, we can.
Okay, I've walked to your yard. Mm-hmm. And you got a Shelby sitting there, but okay. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how my eyes missed that the first time. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I was probably looking at the black beast behind me that is just an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
But in this garage, what is the one vehicle you're most proud of? And that's probably a hard thing to narrow it down because I'm sure you're proud of a lot. But you've probably worked on a ton of different cars. What's one that just sticks out to you?
In-house right now is this one underneath the
lift,
which is a 72
I wish
Triumph
people could
TR6. We'll have to get a couple of photos of a close-up because right now it's a working situation.
It's a working project, yeah.
But no, this is a 72 Triumph TR6 with a 6.2-liter LS. So basically a little bit bigger engine than what you have with a 6-speed. In that thing. So power to weight ratio would be equivalent to, say, the Lexus LFA, which is about 4 horse per pound. So it's about 2,500 pound thereabouts, and it's going to be over 500 horse. So it'll be a tire roaster.
It'll go.
It'll go. The fellas had that car since 1976, I think. And it came to us a number of years ago, and we've been doing some custom sheet metal on it. And that's the one I'm most proud of because it's the one that is 100% hand built by me.
I don't know why this is bugging me. I'm going to go all the way back. I'm still curious why you reached out. You said the Lord led you. You said you're a saved man.
Yeah.
Whether you want to share your story on that, or when you say the Lord led you, I'm just kind of curious. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I actually, now that I think about it, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know if I got a full answer there.
We didn't get a full answer there. No. Back for me, just born and raised North Battleford. A city boy with farm roots, right? And but now attended Territorial Drive Alliance in North Battleford, and Mrs. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Jones were the church grandparents. Like they minded everybody, no matter your age. Underneath them, you got a bag of candy and treats and a $2 with a special verse for you from them. And Mrs. Jones was my grade 6. No, was it grade 6? Grade 3. It was grade 3. I was 7 years, just shy of 7 years old, and she had gone through, as most of the Sunday schools are. It's the Jesus and the Lamb, calm and peaceful, and it was that I do remember walking, like saying, "Yeah, I want to accept the Lord as my Savior." And as a kid, you're doing a more of it wasn't a because everybody else was doing it in this scenario. There was something there. Like, we've been raised in a Christian family my whole life. It's just before I was born, Mom and Dad came to the Lord themselves. They've got their stories to build on. And no, it was I was raised in the Scriptures, raised to help, raised to keep an eye out, and where there's a needing hand, be ready if you can. Have the power available. If you have the power available to be present for somebody, do so. That is one of the things.
Well, you were answer to prayers, if you don't know that, because I'd been praying about it, because I really didn't know what to do. It was like I was looking at new vehicles and I'm going, well, that doesn't make a whole lick of sense.
No.
You know, like
on the road and making payments on something that
Yeah.
still going to have a mechanical issue regardless.
Yeah. And I mean, just the cost of vehicles. And then, you go, okay, so buy something used. I'm like, what do I need? So then I'm sitting there, and I knew the problems of the Explorer in particular, on, how much weight it could pull, the fuel tank size, like
transmission issues.
The transmission issues. Like, just the overall, I was sitting there and I was going, like, can it do it? Might be able to. Man, I don't know. And what do you do? I give Michelle Benning, if you ever listen to this, I give her a ton of credit, because I walked in one day and I probably looked like I've been run over by a truck.
Oh,
and
good day.
I was sitting there, and normally I'm kind of like people know I'm kind of the eternal optimist. Yeah. I come in whistling Sweet Dixie. I got a smile on my face. And that day I wasn't. And she's like, well, what's the matter? And I'm like, I rattled off 50 problems. She goes, well, I know the answer. And I looked up, expecting, I don't know. I don't know what she was going to say.
I know that answer.
And she's just like, well, give it over to the Lord.
Yep.
I'm like, I should have got over it. I should have known that answer. But it was a good reminder. So what do? Start praying about all the things.
All right.
And then a phone call comes in, and you sit there and you go, man alive, what a call to get.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't talking about it on the air. I don't think I even mentioned it.
Outside of, you just said, hey, we're going to be doing this trip, and I had, unfortunately, this year you booked.
The forum. I know.
Booked the forum on the wrong date.
Yes.
That happened to be the World of Wheels, which because I've run in the Battle of the Techs at that event, I couldn't just let somebody else run it. It doesn't run without me in that setup. So it was one of those, well, we'll make sure Mom and Dad are there and whatnot. But when you had mentioned after that show that hey, this is what I'm taking, and I reached out and said, what kind of truck you got going? And I remember, not a truck, and silence. And that was it, man, for a minute. And then 2016 Explorer. Oh, buddy, call me. I got something for you. I sent you a couple photos, right? And like I say, I got this one. And when we got to talking on the phone, I said, this is my primary one because it's the most solid out of the whole setup and most family friendly. It's this big ass station wagon.
Well, you didn't know this, but Mel didn't want a truck. I think I told you at one point.
You told me after, yeah.
Yeah, that Mel didn't want a truck because she doesn't like when the kids are on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look inside this thing, folks, you're like, they can pretty much swim in it. It's so big.
Captain's chair's middle and
Yeah.
full easy access. So you're not. These trucks did have a full bench seat that you had to fold one seat and then always get in and out the back. With the captain's chairs, you jump in, you walk through like a van essentially. But yeah, when we got to talking and on video, I'm like, okay, here's the walk around. Oh, and by the way, I have this other one, this 04 F-150 crew cab, and I sent you a quick picture of it. And then you said Mel's she had 3 lists. There are 3 things on her list. The kids not in the same seat, and on each other, range, and room, or capacity, like to be able to carry the trailer and the load proper. And rightly, this big black beast
solves all the problems.
Hit all 3 of those primaries out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I forget, for anyone that is in the Chestermere area, are you bringing in vehicles on the daily, fixing odds and ends, or are you looking for somebody to restore old vehicles? What if you were saying, hey, this is what we do, and if you're looking for somebody to do that, this is your shop?
Primarily, we're a restoration shop. Sheet metal, rust repair, this 54 Chevy. We have a 1974 Oldsmobile 455 in it. He brought us a different 455 engine, but it was a part, and I said, it's going to cost X to do it, or can we find something? So he found a running, moving, driving donor. We took the engine tranny out of that, fitted in there, the console, the steering wheel for it, and he's going to have a 74 Oldsmobile looking like a 54 Chevy, basically. But no, we will do service on new stuff as a courtesy to those. If we're doing a hot rod service for them, we're just finished one of the other trucks.
But if you got a vintage vehicle or a project that you want finished,
or looking for better mileage in your late model, like
well,
your current
actually,
vehicle
no,
as well.
you should bring that
Yes,
up, because one of the things, like for folks who don't remember, Brian was on a Blue Collar Roundtable, and we in that roundtable we got into a little bit of what he does.
Yeah.
But I don't think it turned a hard left with the 3 men, and I just let it go where it wanted to.
Yeah.
And you guys coming down, what was that, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks now, yeah.
Like, I'm sitting there watching Brian, 73 years old, folks, hook up to the computer and every mile turn it off, restart, changing the air, the fuel, the everything that I'm just like, I don't fully understand, but you can literally hear the changes going on. I'm like, this is something. And then I was asking him, like, so what you're saying is, in a time where gas is expensive, you guys have options to help make your vehicles more fuel efficient.
Certain vehicles, we can do the Fords and the Chevys, some of the Dodges up to 2015, which is like 2007 to 15. After that, they Dodge locked their computers. We can't access them. It's a expensive process to go through if we were to. But no, for example, a 2018 Ford EcoBoost, Ford F-150 with the EcoBoost we just did for a buddy here. He was averaging, like on his meter, 14, 16 liters per 100 on his regular trips. Well, when we were done on the test drive stretch out in here, Trans-Canada out towards Strathmore, it's fairly flat, rolling hills. But in the 110K zone, we're doing 8 liters per 100. 9 liters per 100. Well, 8 liters per 100 is 32 miles a gallon, like for those who are looking at old methods. So to get a truck to do 32 miles a gallon for steady state, not loaded, no racing, just going from one place to the other, and anything in your daily driving, your in-town driving, unfortunately, it'll help a certain percentage, but on an overall, if you do a lot of highway, we could actually see anywhere between 20 and 30% economy gains. So that can be one tank. Like if you're filling once a week, every 7 days, that could be filling it every 10 days then. And in the end, you're going to be one
Well, you
less
can
fill a month.
Yeah, you can see where that goes and how quickly it adds up.
So that's the other thing. Like in our hot rodding, and this is why we have the overlap, is using those very fuel efficient engines. Hey, Miss Smoke.
I tell you what, I've waited a long time. I have so many guests that have a cat, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, the cat's in there.
Cat, there you
Finally,
go.
I can say I have a cat on me. Yeah.
All right, lady. So the using the late model fuel injection and powertrains. Hello to you. Hi. Off she goes. We can get better power out of the newer engines for the dollar spent. Like back to do what Dad was doing on the keyboard. If this was a 1985 Chevy Impala or an 85 Suburban, let's call it this 85 Suburban match unit. It's carburetor, it's distributor. If we needed to set that timing, we're setting general. And to do it, we'd have to purl over, let it cool, remove a couple of parts, insert a couple of parts. Get it so you're getting dirty, you're getting greasy. Nowadays, we can do the same effect without getting dirty anymore with the fuel injection and tuning that we've got capable.
Well, there you go. So if I were to summarize that all up in a nice, neat bow, and you can add in a few, it's like you got something that's in my words, vintage, but you got something that you want to make look sharp, sound sharp, have every...
Be reliable.
Yeah.
Be able to go cross country, no questions asked.
Yeah, one. Yeah. And then two is like you're looking for fuel efficiency. You guys can really make a lot of things happen there as well. Yeah. Obviously on certain models and makes. But if you're sitting there driving a lot of highway miles, that should perk your ears up because right now it's not cheap to drive on the roads.
$1.68 is one. It's interesting because 2 days ago it was $1.49 at the same gas station.
Yeah. Well,
20 cents, man.
I got to give a shout out to Kalmar because when I left the Kozas, it was at least 10 cents cheaper in Kalmar.
Than the loop.
Then the next one over. And I was like, thank goodness for filling up here. And you noticed it at the fuel pump. I was like, holy crap, right? Like,
especially 125 liters.
Yeah.
That's back to this beast behind us. It's a big tank. Well, are we going to make 400? We're going to make at least 400 for sure. On some days, it depends on the wind, where the wind's blowing. But
depends if I'm in a giddy up type
in a giddy up mode.
You know, it's funny. I was telling your dad, like when it gets to like 2,500 RPM, it just kind of like just purrs.
Yeah,
like I don't know. My brothers were laughing at me, folks, because I got in this thing and I'm like, oh, I like this, and I've enjoyed driving it. So
it's you can see the smile on your face when you're behind the wheel on this one. It's as you said before, it is a hot rod. It's not an old hot rod. It's what a hot rod is. Like it's the dimension of it is that it's personalized, it's powerful, and reliable. Like those three things together.
I don't have enough words to thank you for that.
For
now,
sure.
I got two questions I've been asking everybody.
Yes.
You probably already know them. One is Alberta independence. Referendum October 19th. I'm always curious what people think. Now, as I'm here in Alberta, I assume I know lots of the answers. The people are going to come on. I'm very curious the further I go east. But you know what? Like, what is Zane's thoughts on the referendum coming up over October 19th?
My thoughts on the referendum, the way that they've gone and done it, allow you to have a question about a question. I don't like it. Give me 51st state. Personally, give me the First Amendment. Give me the Second Amendment. Give me the Castle Law. That's what I want. And if they can't put that in the separation situation, why are we even attempting? Particularly because without the protections of being able to stand for your own, what exactly are we going to do? Yes, there's we're not giving money to Ottawa and all the have-nots. Well, it's going to take a long time to get out of that circle anyway. Even as if it does, hey, we're going to let you have a question of a question, and then that question date will proceed 18 months because it's politics.
We're going to let you have a question on a question.
And we can't, well, the thing is, they can't have the referendum within how many months of an election. We know that the election windows are set. So now that puts us to, and nothing's going to happen for 3 years now to start. say next 18 months, we're going to have another election window. Then once that new government comes in, if we get good guys like Kevin in who can help change the from Ontario, if we can get them to change from internal early enough, but we've seen it hasn't happened. It doesn't happen. Nothing moves fast in the government, right?
Nothing moves fast in the government. Truer words have not been spoke. Your favorite road trip or camping trip or wherever you want to take it?
I think one of the other connections of, hey, let's make this trip of yours memorable. 1991, 1985 Chevy Impala. I have 3 sisters and mom and dad. 6 of us in a loaded up tents, camping gear. We took off from here, went to Newfoundland. Visit some friends.
You went across to Newfoundland?
We went across to Newfoundland. We did the full trip that you're doing.
You were the original right here.
I could say we're the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's like, you know what? I've been that trip, and I was 11. I was 12, and I was 12 at that time. And
Brian, what were you thinking taking a whole car across to Newfoundland back in the day? Over 800 kilometers in a tank of fuel?
84 Chevy Impala. Again, father
Yeah.
worked. It's not stock, right? Yeah. It was, I've put it, our vehicles are blessed, but not so much as saying.
How many times did Zane poke his sisters and get them all fired up? Yeah.
Right?
If you didn't hear him, he said he doesn't have enough fingers and toes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, that was one of the other things, is that was our, like we've done up to then, it was Jasper, Banff, Vancouver, tent trailer or tents.
But when you go back to Newfoundland, going all the way there, that's the first one you talk about.
1991, yeah.
What is it about that trip that just sticks out to you? Like, I mean, obviously the distance is, well, to most people, they just don't go that far. But what is it about that trip?
It was everything in between North Battleford and New Brunswick was kind of somewhat of a blur, shall we say. We did cut down into New York State for a detour.
Okay.
But we did end up back in Montreal for a half a day, and then cut back down to Brunswick and such. But rightly, Fortress Louisbourg in Nova Scotia, PEI, and it's no longer out there. St. Anne's Cathedral on PEI, somewhere near Cavendish, I believe it was, had the best lobster dinner. Now, as a kid, like 12-year-old kid, you had fresh buns, all you can eat, fresh cheese, all you can eat, and the lobster, the scallops were all you can eat, but the lobster was fresh and coming through. That was my first time with fresh seafood, I'm like, to me as a kid who never had fresh, like we'd had fresh fish, but not lobster, right? Like we've growing up, we've fished in all the lakes around Saskatchewan and whatnot, but that and Newfoundland, tell you, man, that I've never seen as many hills. Like even you go out to BC, they don't feel the same.
Well, I can tell you from biking them.
Oh yeah,
from biking them, it's the steepest grades in all of Canada that I recall.
Yeah.
I think the one hill or maybe multiple hills were 13%. Like, and I know there's in BC, there's certainly going to be some roads.
There's a few, but they're all
not
graded out now.
Not the main ones are all. I think like what's the steepest on the main roads? 8%.
Barely 8% now. Yeah.
Right, like 13%.
It's reduced. Right.
You go across that on a pedal bike, you feel like you're falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
And man, we seen how fast we could go down them, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, you could get about 68 miles an hour.
You know, like the Newfoundland thing's interesting because when Mel and I were first planning it, I have to take a ferry to get out there.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, it's going to cost
truck trailer. It's expensive.
Yeah, you know, it's going to cost a bunch of money." And so we sat and stewed on it as a family. Mm-hmm. And I told her, and I'm like,
if you're going that far, you have to.
I'm like, it's been 20 years since we biked Canada. I've never been back to Newfoundland. If we don't go now, when are we going to go?
Yep.
So it's not like we're going to spend a month there.
No.
But we're going to take the kids out there, and I'm like, it's just a different world.
And the outside of your pre-booking ferries, you can take your time in there. If you need to stay an extra day at one, or it's like, hey, you know what, something come up a town over.
Everybody's
be
shocked,
ready.
but Mel's already got it booked. She's already got everything. Just like she's got. I love my wife. She has a binder of all the campsites we're booked into.
Oh, wow.
So and they're all in order.
And that's
So after you get done one, you just flip to the next. This is where we're going next. I'm like, all right. That I tell you what, it makes my life easy. All I got to worry about is keeping it out of the tulies.
Yeah.
Just keep her on the, in between the dotted line and the hard line, and
Keep
just
the high beams on and let her rip.
right?
Yeah.
Like, stop for fuel and
Yeah.
make sure the kids don't poke one another too much. I mean, although that
Strap one to the top if you have to. You got the carrier. You're good. Nobody will know they're in there.
I can't believe you guys have been all the way across Newfoundland.
We had, and that was I think one of the other things is, as a family, yes, you're gonna then annoy each other, but it was one of the best growth windows. Like for me, physically, it was a physical growth for me. I came back almost a foot and a half taller, and I was a
How
scrawny.
long did it take you guys?
Or
how long did you take to do it? I guess
we were gone. It was a 5-week trip all told, out and back. Right. I think we were a full week in Newfoundland, but it was some of it was a rush back. But going out, it was a little more pace of where, hey, you know what? We heard of this festival.
Yep.
Let's
Stop
go.
in.
Yeah. But
my dad and brother's advice before I left was, if you see something interesting, stop.
Damn right.
Don't drive by it. You might as well stop. You got the time. Make sure you stop and take a look and see what it is.
In the end, that stop is a 2-hour reset.
Yeah.
A leg stretch.
We took the kids to Vulcan.
Oh yes, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did they think of the Enterprise?
Well, it's more nostalgic for me. I was walking around like, this is unreal. I remember, I'm looking at all the DVDs of all the seasons. I'm like, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Used to come on Sunday afternoon, 2 and 4. There was nothing else to watch.
Right.
So even if I didn't like it, I had no choice but to watch it.
It's all we had on.
That's right. Yeah, Captain Kirk. Oh man, it brought back a lot of nostalgia for me. It was just. It's fun. I think Casey was sitting there going like, why are we here? Like, what is this? But like, I was driving down Main Street and all the lights are the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that got to give him credit for like all the little things.
And it took a while. Leonard Nimoy actually did finally get out there. And I've been here, actually, I moved in December 2002 to work in this shop. And in 2008, we had the privilege of buying the place. This Chestermere area is now actually 50% of my life, and it is my home. But you get out your Sunday trek or your Saturday trek to go out to places, and Vulcan, I've got some family out that way as well. So we've been out there to see him once in a while, I never engaged as a Trekkie or a Star Wars fiend.
Nor did I.
And I didn't get into video games particularly. I was always in the shop. I was always turning wrench to get dirty to make something, because what can I do next? What skill can I build now has always been my priority.
Well, and I would think nowadays more than ever we need more kids to find that again. And I mean, you were just oozing over Shay as he's sitting there reefing on these tires. I thought he was going to tire out and be like, this sucks, I'm done.
Well, we gave him I had the shortest ratchet of it. Like that was what I had. So we threw an extension and a socket on to get a little bit longer. And then as we're finishing the second one, you show up with the spanner wrench. And I said, that's what you're going to want. And he kind of looked at it and he learned it quick. And what's interesting, and I'll tell you what, he's got a mechanical knack that is going to come out probably on this trip now that we've initiated him.
Yeah, when the vehicle breaks down, he's going to be right over my shoulder. What are we doing, Dad? What are we doing?
Well, it's interesting because I've always had the heart to help kids understand it. And I get kids involved in, if they don't stay in the automotive trade, it doesn't matter. Where did they go? Did they go into electronics? Did they go to electrical? Did they go into like engineering, auto body, welder, anything? Did they do something with their hands and become a blue collar? Is one of the things. they may not even. They might go to university, but they have a base skill set that's within them that will help them carry through the days. But what I noticed with him was one. I first got out. I said, Shay, could I borrow you for a second and get these units unloaded from the truck? And he was right on there, right? And he's like, okay, what do you need? Where we need them? Okay, what are we doing? Well, we'll set up. And I showed him how to set the jack and where to. And I told him, you're not under here unless Dad's around. Like, don't go doing this at willy-nilly. So do be cautious. But here's the correct way to use the equipment. You got to break these nuts before we lift. If we lift and you don't break your nuts, you get the chance to put it down again and try once more. Well, he tried to put on. So I gave him a little bit of assist. As soon as he put him on the spanner, the star wheel, he's like, oh, I can do this myself. And he was cracking the wheel nuts with that. But on his own, and he gave it torque.
Well, one father to another, it's super cool to see people interact with your kids and teach them like useful skills.
Yes.
But I when he was really young, he was the same, just like energetic boy. And I remember being really upset with myself because I just kept telling him, no, you can't do that. No, you're being too loud. No, you're being too rambunctious, whatever. And then one day we went out to the farm, and my brother was in the process of moving a house to where they currently live.
Oh, excellent.
And he was cleaning rocks along the fence line because he was going to plant trees. And so I said, Shay, you want to help move rocks? And I can't remember. He might have been 3 or 4. And he's like, yeah. And then he grabbed the first rock and he went to throw it. And he looked at me. He's like, wait a second. Can I throw this? Like, you can throw it. Yeah, just throw it that way. You sure, Dad?
Out of the path.
I'm like, you just keep throwing rocks that way. And he went for like an hour straight just chucking rocks.
Awesome.
And it was a hot day.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, find him a place where he can be himself and he will beyond succeed. Yeah. And like, I guess one father or another, it was super cool to watch it because I was sitting beside Brian and I get antsy. I'm like, all right, let's crack these wheels and get it going. Finally, I just sat down beside Brian. Brian's like, we're going to be here for a couple hours. I'm like, yeah, I guess we are. And I sat back and I watched as he got into it, then my other kids got into it, and then everybody wants to do it.
Everybody come around. And
I don't know how to explain this to the listener, but as Zane and Brian are leaving, my kids are all, see you later, Zane. See you, Brian. You coming back tomorrow? I want to put on another wheel. And I'm like, you don't want to go swimming. You want to put on another wheel. Like that's, right? I don't know. I just commend you because that is something that I just don't witness very often in life. Someone willing to slow down something that should take, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and extend it into probably 4 times the length. But what you saw was every kid there.
Their engagement. Yeah. That's one of the things. And that's what Battle of the Tex is there for. Back to it for a second, is to pull that interest from the crowd. Like, here's one that we had at the World of Wheels. This is our second year running World of Wheels. And at the time, we were using students from SAIT. So we also had the instructors from SAIT as coaches and judges. And I'm sitting there announcing the run. Here you go. Across the way, watching one of the judges interacting with a pedestrian, we'll call. And so we got to chatting with JD, and he said, yeah, he's giving me a pamphlet, and here you go. Well, crazy enough, the next year, he applied for the program, with the AST program. He got in. And it's not hard to get into. You basically got to have a life or to be living and show you want to show up.
Have a heartbeat.
Have a heartbeat. But he ended up, this kid entered when the call, so that was September. In December, we did a call for students, who's like, we need some competitors again. Have we got some? They had 20 kids running for, at that time, I only had 16 spots. And so it's 8. They're basically at that time it's at 2-man teams. It's 10 teams for 8 spots, right? And so he competed, made it into the event. He and his teammate came in second that year. Cool. And usually I don't see him again until next year. Craziest thing was the year following. I'm I seen his name on the list. I'm like, okay, cool. We got Corey back, and let's go. And I'm standing at the desk, setting schedule, and he shows up, and my head's down doing. He goes, Zane, you got my tickets? And I look up at him like, I don't recognize you. And your name? Corey. And I'm like, because I didn't recognize him, I'm like, what the heck, man? So this kid, in that 1 year alone, so after he was second place in that first round, he ended up working for BMW that summer. Makes a difference in life. Well, after him and his teammate won that year, well, we get to chatting with them, and it was that he was talking to the instructor the year prior, and he was basically on mom's, let's call it mom's coach. Like, it had nothing, no set goals, and seen this, engaged, got into class, engaged in class with the battle, and then got a chance at BMW. And this guy actually grew a couple of inches, broadened his shoulders, shaved his head. Like, he didn't look like the same kid. And I'm looking at him like, man, that's quite the change, right? And I haven't heard from him in almost a decade now. Like, that was almost 15 years of running it. So yeah, it's been full 10 years I haven't seen him, but to know where he's at right now. But it was that time was he went from mom's coach to engaging to winning to ultimately winning as well. So it's something that I've had that heart for, and it comes back to when I was building my '57 Chevy as a kid. Dad would always help everybody around the shop there that he worked at, doing mechanical work for the kids and vehicles, the personal vehicles. And when it came time to learn how to do paint prep and whatnot for my '57 Chevy, Dad said, it filled in, one of the guys said, hey, this is what we're doing with Zane. Could you stop by and, well, here's some product, give it a go. He didn't even come by to see what we were doing and whatnot. And that, after I got done the car, I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn on my own. And it's not perfect. I still got the car. And it's not going to be on the road until, well, because I do this for a living now, it's what I want out of the car. But like, it's not like I can just slap an engine back in it and drive it, because it has to represent what I do now, right? And that was what I started with, but I remembered and I carry that with. So if somebody comes up and says, my kid's interested, okay, give them to me for a day, 2 days, see how interested and engaged they are. If they are engaged, they'll come back. If they aren't engaged, we don't hear from them, right? And very seldom do I have that spread where I have to, where I don't, like, we'll call it wasting time on somebody, right? It's a lot of times, probably about 80% of the time, the kids are continue engaged, and then they go on a career path, into heavy duty mechanics or something of the sort, and then carry on forth with making a good life for themselves because we gave them a chance.
Yeah, well, teachers have a real. Actually, coaching hockey this year was probably the first time coaching hockey in general is the first time I started to understand why my wife teaches. Because you can see the growth in kids, especially when they engage.
Yeah.
Like, when they're into it, you're like, holy crap, what did you do in the last week? Because and, it's become really rewarding. That's a word you used earlier. Yeah. And I guess, teaching kids at school, it makes complete sense. Coaching, I would have never thought of it.
Teaching them outside of their... it's a normal, because kids are needing to be engaged in a team activity of some sort.
Sure, but right? I didn't put it 2 and 2 together,
right,
of why people really enjoyed coaching until you started working with kids on skills and they got better, and you're like, oh, that's super cool,
Yeah.
And
they refined your and here's one of the things that's saying that's been out there, and as a dad, it'll come to you as the boys and Mila grow up. But a dad is the only man out there who is happy for you to do better than him. Right. And a good teacher is also that. A good coach is also that. I had this. You rose to the level you did in Europe hockey, and you're able to pass on some stuff. And do you end up with another Bedard or a McGregor out of your camp at some day, or somebody who outsets them? Yeah, that's makes you stronger for your next adventure with the next kid.
Well, as a father, you want your kids to do better than you.
As always.
I've made a lot of mistakes. Oh man, and yet some of those mistakes probably had to be made in order to go. Oops, don't do that again. Before I let you out of here, any final thoughts to the audience on Zeebs or on the road trip or just the state of the world? The floor is yours, Zane.
State of the world, we'll leave that one to another adventure. That could take us in past midnight. But no, rightly, you guys have got a great family there. Just seeing how the kids are willing to interact with strangers. Like that stranger. Like we showed up at your place on a late night. The kids were all playing ball. Come back in like we're a stranger to them then, but right away, youngest was, what are you doing? Do you want to give me a hand? Throw him the screwdriver, and he was occupied, man. He wanted to. Casey's like, I want this. Can I stay? And it got to a point. He's like, hey, can I go inside now? I think I'm done here. I'm like, and he understood what we were doing.
It's one of the things on the road trip. There is a lot of different things I hope come out of the road trip. But one of them is, I get to see the community that's come around the podcast or been formed around the podcast, or the podcast is formed. I don't know which,
right.
What came first, regardless. There's just so many wonderful people.
Yeah.
And like my family hears about them, and it's just a story from Dad.
Right.
You coming out to the campsite and doing that, I'm like, that's a story. We're heading off to Dan's place, I guess is what I would say. And they were still remembered from 2 years ago. We stopped in for a brief visit, and he was ready with a horse. And he was just
awesome.
And so Mila goes to me like 2 days ago out of nowhere. We get to go back to the guy with the horse's house. And I'm like, you remember that? She's like, oh yeah. Do we get to go riding? I'm like, funny enough, I think we do. And as it is, by the time this airs, we'll have been there. But I was just talking to Dad, and I was just like, yeah, the kids are really excited.
Right.
And you don't understand the impact you make on kids when you engage with them.
Yeah.
When you push them to do things they probably would not normally do. And you're probably going to be a core memory in their lives because of that one time Zane and Brian came out. You remember we were changing the tires on the trailer? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
That took a really long time. It was really funny to watch Zane and Brian sit there and work with you guys on putting them on, and it's super cool. But, that's probably one of the things that I think is going to be really cool for my family to interact with, because I interact with lots of you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Albeit through a phone. But when I travel, I see lots of you in different spots, and it's always great to catch up. And my family is quickly learning that this is going to be a little different than just a family vacation.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because Casey was, as soon as we pulled up, we started, we were still unloading some things from the Suburban. And as soon as he seen me, he's like, Zane, check this out. And he right through the screen, he was in one side of the bed. I go, is that one yours? Oh, no, come over here. This is mine. And he's hopping around showing through the windows, right? But he was like, from the 3 weeks before, and then you probably said Zane and Brian are on their way, so he caught something. So
they're sponges, they pick it up and they remember.
They remember. So do remember that for you guys is keep the positives, even though it's tense between them, or tense between, hey, our schedules are wrong, I broke something or something got broke, some other. Take a moment, breathe, pray to God, say, hey, Lord, guide me here, to get it, and just let them not know that it might be there, like it might come out, but at least correct it in a short term following.
One short story before I let you out of here. This is 3 years ago, I think, folks. The kids got hand, foot, and mouth. And we're in Minnesota, and I was just like, adults can't get it. I'm not going to treat my kid like a leper. I'm going to go let out, Casey had it. He was upset. I'm like, I'll come lay with you. So I lay with him, and then I got hand, foot, and mouth. It was awful. So Mel goes to make a good situation out of, a pretty messy situation. She goes, well, maybe we could drive across like South Dakota. And I'm like, I'm in pain right now. I'm just hand, foot, and mouth for an adult, folks, sucks. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you want to drive? She says, well, what are you going to do? Drive home and be miserable there? Why not be miserable on the road?
Let's
go
detour a
see some
moment.
things. Well, at the moment, we were broke. I think we had, $250 to our name, so we were staying in motels.
Yeah.
That were not exactly
69,
great.
95, and
100%. One of them had shag carpet around the entire toilet. Think about that for a second. Anyways, Shay walks in, and he sees this ugly-looking hotel room. And he's just like, oh, this is something. Dad, look, they got carpet in the bathroom. He's all excited. Anyways, he just brings everybody's spirits up. And Mel's laying beside me in bed at night. She goes, after the kids have fallen asleep, she goes, you think he knew we were a little bit like
down
because we're at this hotel that
it was something new to him.
Yeah, and he could feel it, and instead of going, he was just pumped. He was pumped. He was everything. I was going, oh, that's don't stand over there, son. He was like, oh, look at this, and there's a brand stain in the floor. Wonder what happened there, Dad. And I'm like, I don't know, son. And you're like, this is something, but it's a fun memory now.
Right.
And kids are funny that way because when you're stressed, they have an interesting way of lightening the mood when they can see it. I've had my kids do it lots.
Good. That's it. I think overall you guys are on the right path. And the nice thing is, you've got it. Doesn't feel like a lot of room, but it's also you guys are together. That's the biggest thing, and they'll remember this. As I said, the biggest fondest memory of mine was 01 or 91. So we're talking already. I can't even do my math fast enough.
35 years ago,
right? It's like that's pretty core, and it was same situation of we're packed in one car because this is the car we have, and it wasn't a borrow a car from somebody else because you didn't know what that one was. We knew what this one was. Dad built the package to make it. And gave us the strength to trust it.
Well, I know Brian can hear me right now, but I just want to thank you both for doing this because I don't know, man. From the bottom of my heart, I don't know. I don't have all the words. Yeah. I'm just like, it's super cool to be sitting in front of folks, right? Like I hope the camera does justice.
This one here we had put on Tuesday, and so here's the crazy thing is we had the 18th was we had to get up to. We were originally set to get this up there to get tires put on.
Yeah.
And I was running a little bit late. This hatch was painted on the night of the 18th. It was installed in the morning of the 19th. And we raced up there and got there in time, just barely in time to get the tires put on that evening. Then we had a few hours of wrap up. But I'm like, at the whole time, because this had, well, it's an aluminum unit. It's usually rust, but it had paint blisters all over. And I'm like, what's my option? Do I wrap the whole thing, just leave it and wrap it? Or do I do it proper? Like give it the respect of, if it were mine, I want to do it this way. And then, and I still think, you know what, that wrap concept is neat. It's not a full wrap. This is the individual panels. But I got to thinking, and we got a little SNP at Lloydminster.
Yeah, you might be able to see it, folks. If you're just listening on the border of Alberta, Saskatchewan, you can see an SMP logo in there of where we started the trip from, and it's a full decal on one side of Canada, and then on the other side of the United States. And obviously, there's going to be a few more stops in there. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just super cool and.
Well, I figured it'd be a nice added touch for your adventure.
I have to tell you that I now know what it feels like to be a good-looking woman. Okay?
You're saying, yeah.
Everywhere I go, I turn men's heads. Okay, women look at this thing, they're like, it's too loud. It's all these things. Everywhere I go, men are like, what is that? You could just see them in the rearview mirror. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right? Like guys giving you the
and
thumbs
it's
up.
not even
and
fully polished out yet.
Yeah, like it's
a big black beast of a truck making noise. The kids, it was interesting. Is that after we got picked up from the tires, Dad had a tune to do in Lloydminster. You guys had ball. I drove around the corner to the car wash, and the two young guys. Is that the original lift on there? Or is that it? And what do you got? What do you got in there? That thing's smelling sweet. And I told him we just finished this, and we got 500K on the first. We just drove it from Chestermere. Was like we started it at 11:30 the night before for the first time, and it's like jump in and go, let's go. And that's where we're also, you know what, we're comfortable with you jumping in and starting your trip, because we've put it through its pace and what will be in that first 1,000 on average, and we've found enough of the bugs to mind out. So, but overall, yeah, all the kids, all the guys, and that's the one thing with hot rods as well. It's a lot of times it's you're worried about how your vehicle's looking, but it's the guys are looking at it. You're not going to be there. Like, not some women are like, hey, that's a nice color, whatnot. They're usually there to accompany the husband or the boyfriend, not to mind what's there as a vehicle, right? Like that, vehicles aren't for them. It's not.
Well, the Newman tornado is coming all across Canada, and it's going to come in rumbling because this thing's
You'll
got a
hear it
mean
ahead.
sound. That's right.
Definitely.
Zane, appreciate you not only doing this. Like, I'm honored that Zeebs, you and your dad, would do it for me, and but yeah, I don't know. Just as we've gotten to know each other over the course of years, it's been super. I don't know. Rewarding, worthwhile, a whole bunch of different things. It's just been super cool to get to know you and get to learn what makes you tick. And I'm honored to have the Zeebs logo on the back. You know, and people are going to be hearing an awful lot. The S&P road trip's powered by Zeebs, and you know, it's fitting that it's on the back hatch as we're across Canada.
When you brought that up, I'm like, I can put that somewhere.
Yeah,
and there as well, and so the kids can color that in or build some.
I'll let you know. It's funny, we're homeschooling this year, so I'll just let them have a homeschooling project where we got to figure out what are we doing with the maps.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like it's a little tight right here. Like to think, okay, Leduc's here, Aspen Crossing's here, Cypress Hills is here. Like it'll get a little busy, but it's also it initiates their thoughts.
Oh yeah, and. My wife being a school teacher, they'll whip up something cool with it. Right. I think it's thank you very much, and thanks for letting me have you on the podcast.
Appreciate
I wanted nothing more than to let people hear the guy who helped put this in motion, because it's, you know, once again, I just don't have the words to express how grateful I am that somebody thought highly enough of me to do something like this, and
make sure you relied like that you got something reliable to get across, because they say I know what it takes to do that venture, and I know what it takes to haul what you're hauling, because that's my business, to know vehicles. And it's like, you know what, let's make sure we get some bespoke is the best way to put it. This is a bespoke unit for you guys for SNP.
Cool. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay.